Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. Welcome to the Universal Energy Forecast for this month. We are in July, and there's so much going on. So I just want to really reiterate why we're doing this. I'm looking at a collective energy. I'm not talking about the doom and gloom and all the shit that we know that's going on in the world that we have no control over. These cards are really tracking the reflection of us and a way for us to deal with energy that's in our highest good. So you're going to find that I may skew my readings a little more positive, and hopeful, because that's what I'm actually looking for. Tell me that there's hope in the chaos, to show me where the map is, to enable us to navigate our lives in spite of the madness. So that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to be taking 15 cards, and I'm going to be telling you a story about this month in July. Now, the first card is, this is just fabulous. Okay, first card for the month, Spark. Spark is the card. This is the Enchanted Map Oracle, by the way. I haven't used this deck in forever. This is the first card, Spark, and it is flanked by coming to life and listening, right? So let's tell the story of what's coming into July, because this is great. Spark reminds me the underlying factor of this month in July, with the fact that we're getting our first glimpse with Uranus moving into Gemini. So that's and I did a whole video with Debbie Frank on it, going through all the signs, the Astro Oracle video. Please watch that video. So Spark is all about that feeling of something hitting us, the epiphany, the spark of inspiration, like something releasing, something feeling like, something can come out of this. And as long as I can listen to the ideas, the concepts, the thoughts, because it's Gemini, right? And it's fast, and Uranus doesn't stay long. It comes in fast and furious like a lightning bolt. Right? So we're looking at these explosive ideas that are not destructive. So they come out of what we see as the difficulties that we see in the world. This arises out of that. Now, coming to life is this card, which was upside down. So when I see that card upside down, it's saying that we're still in the composting phase. Now, composting is a much better word than collapse, right? So what we want to see is the things that haven't worked, or the things that, things that are going away, if you will, or things that are disappearing, things that are no longer working, become compost, right? That means that they can become that shitty manure that we can grow a better garden with. So try to look at this time as a time of composting and a time of great new ideas. So listening, again, is really important. Think before you speak, listen, and allow the ideas to come through that listening. It's like really listening to the pulse of the world. All of us are going to be feeling this. Now, what is the release, the relief? The storm breaks. So that's that kind of sense of, we've been waiting, anticipating, and now something actually happened. Now, where are we naturally heading? So I'm going to take the next three cards, which will tell us that. I'm going to read this a little differently. So where are we naturally heading? Right. So we need each other. This is so important. All these three cards are upside down. So we have the magic prayer is the first card, which is, we may not always trust, right? Because if we look at the outer world, the environment of the world, to tell us where we are oriented, to tell us where we are, to tell us if we're okay or not, we're not going to see that. We're going to see all the stuff that is churning up in order to release and relieve us of the old, right? The old way, the stodgy way. So when magic prayer comes upside down, it just reminds us that we have to double down on our relationship with our higher power, on our conscious contact to that relationship, and a commitment to a spiritual life in spite of everything that we see around us, because that actually brings us the epiphanies that we need to trust that there is a way out, and also all these new amazing things that are happening. Where are you going to put your focus? It's also to remind you, when we are powerless over something, it's because we're not acknowledging that it's true. And oftentimes, or we really can't do anything about it. So the question here is, what can you do right now? Where do you have power? And the power that we have is in how we interact with each other, how we behave towards each other, where our values lie, like all the things that we're actually required to consider this month, being a Cancerian month and being family, home, etc. How do we want to be in our home, whether it's an existential home or whether it's our home, right? And in what we do and what we think about and who we're with, etc. So God's got to be in there. Now, the One Ring Circus is saying, you can't do it alone because it's upside down. And so commitment is also upside down. So it's reminding us to recommit to the group, to the community, to each other, and not go off on a me, I journey. Right? That's so. In other words, the energy of July is going to ask us to do that. It's going to ask us to get together and really connect to where we feel safe, where we feel at home. And it's not even a big deal just to like go, we're different. It's not that. It's less important to find our differences and more important to find out what we have in common. That's going to be really, really important this month. Lots of great epiphanies. Lots of really good ideas are going to be thrown around. Listen, act on it. And remember, though, that, hunker down with your people and trust your higher power has a purpose in the things that we don't understand and that you matter. Now, let's look at the obstacles now, sometimes these three cards tell me the nature of the obstacle, or they tell us what to do about the obstacle first. Or they basically say this is I tend to look at it after I've chosen the cards to see which aspect of obstacle are the cards actually talking about. So let's take three. These are so big. Intuition, mountain is the obstacle. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay, so the obstacle is listening and protection. So upside down, if you don't listen, you'll create more of an obstacle. So that means we have to have a voice. That means that we also have to listen to other voices that may not be like our own. So the mountain comes when you don't trust your intuition and you are in a reactive way. So the mountain of the obstacle can grow bigger when you're not hearing the other side or the other person or whatever. Again, great ideas coming in to overcome obstacles. It'll all come to you like a kind of a download. The intuition card is upright and saying, hey, you have everything that it takes as long as you're connected to spirit and you're plugged into the universe. Again, we can call spirit the universe, the conscious universe, the field that's very active and very, very much alive, right? So that field is here. It's pulsing. It wants us, and we're part of it. And all the information that we need is available to us and will come in January. Just keep your ears and your heart open, and you will have the mountain becomes much smaller and doesn't last long either, which is kind of interesting too. So there's a sense that whatever obstacles are there are going to be very short-lived. Now, let's take a look at what's already been going on behind the scenes. So like what's been in play that we haven't really seen up front. So I always find that the hidden things are always interesting. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so we've got Field of Dreams, Dragon's Lair, and Solitude. Interesting. Okay, so Field of Dreams is the first card, which I love because what's been going on behind the scenes is that, so recognize this, when we have intentions to manifest certain things, we never consider the chemicalization phase where everything looks like it's going to shit. And we think like, oh my God, this is terrible, the opposite of what I said I wanted. So part of it's like a pruning or a cleaning, and when we hang on too tightly, and actually Debbie Frank and I talked about that in the other video, we were chatting about how when Uranus was in Taurus, it was very, that's a planet that wants to change, and Taurus holds on to the old, and that's been going on for 7 years. No, I don't want any change. And here it's saying, no, you have to change in order for us to actually give you what you want. a lot of stuff may go not the opposite direction first before we come around to that. People talk about this golden age and we're not seeing it. Or like if you look at certain things, and in fact, that's the wisdom is in the waiting. The wisdom is in the waiting. Dragon's Lair is about really getting where you don't want to step, right? So, and the Solitude card is about being able to pull back. So we have a capacity to pull back, to be in the observer, to look and see. And so behind the scenes in that there has been ways in which the universe is moving in our favor that temporarily we perceive as moving into danger. So that's, and for some people that's actually true. But this is, again, this recalibration and big spotlights on the cracks of everything. So that's actually working for us. The Solitude card is the card that tells us how we have to be trusting that, because we're being left out. That the Solitude is, I'm left out of this thing that's going on behind the scenes. I don't feel like I have any power whatsoever, and it feels very dangerous. But in fact, because it's Field of Dreams, these things were set in motion. It's like, in order to build a beautiful new building on a site that is old and rickety, you got to take that down in order to build something new. So that is what is occurring right now, although it feels overwhelming. Now let's go on to the next. Now, the feeling of it, I'm talking about feelings a lot because we're in Cancer season. Cancer is all about the feelings, right? But feelings are not always facts. Sometimes the facts are, it's like, how do we feel about those facts? Facts can be distorted, but the main thing is that there is relief and there is less feeling, which is good. So even though it's a feeling time, it reminds us that the facts are really important. Then we can experience, we feel our feelings, but then we can do something. What do we do from that? Like, what stimulates something in us to take action? This is actually a really great month to clean up. To really go, okay, I really don't want that. I really want this. So what am I willing to do? What am I no longer willing to tolerate? And what am I willing to do? But because it is a month where we look at the past, but without nostalgia now, we have to look at the past and say, you know what? I get that. Now I want to build a new future. So all these really great ideas are going to be coming through as long as we listen and as long as we keep reminding ourselves that it's we, not me. Now, what are the gifts of our higher power? Slow and steady wins the race. So that's the main card, slow and steady. So even though we may see that certain things are not exactly the way we want them to be, and they're moving very quickly. That's the other good thing, is that things are fast and they're going to speed up even more. So change will be rapid. And so don't forget the details. Don't get super caught up on all the big picture, because the big picture can be super overwhelming. What you want to do is make it more granular, bring it home, and our higher power or the universe is going to give us the information organically. Like, hey, this is where we need to look. The Gentle Gardener is a great card here. That's the other card. So because it's reminding us that whatever we plant in our field of dreams is going to grow. Do we want to plant weeds? The answer is no. So this month particularly, we are going to know immediately which the things are that are going to benefit us and others and which really won't. It's not going to be a stretch and it's not going to be hard. So that's it for July. My dogs are going to bark. Thank you so much. And yes, Bizou has something to say. All righty then. I'll see you next month. And just remember, things are going to be rapid. Let it be. There's relief and really, really interesting things starting to show up this month and will continue till the end of the year. Don't judge what we're looking at just yet. Remember that there is something beautiful. Remember, I'm talking about composting, right? Something beautiful can grow out of things that appear to be the opposite. All right. Love you guys. Take care. And I'll see you next month.